I saw God this week praying with the families of the Ronald McDonald House and trying to get a feel for what they go through every day and seeing what they struggle with and praying for them.
When we were giving out meals, the majority of people who were helping out were probably the people who were needing the most help. Even though they're in a really bad situation, they're still trying to do good, and it just made me smile.
I saw God this week when I went to the Early Learning Center near Christ Church in Pompano. It's for little pre-Ks kids that are getting ready to go to kindergarten, and I reflect them by seeing them in their eyes, how they are excelling so fast.
And I was standing in chapel next to this man in a wheelchair, and I asked him if he needed anything. And this prompted a conversation with him in which he told me all about his immense faith in Jesus, and that he had lost Jesus for 14 years, but then he had come to a meal at Hope, South Florida, and encountered this amazing Christian woman who led him back to Christ.
It was when we was at the church off of Andrews, and I did devotion and also sang a little bit of worship. And when I went to go help with the feeding, I saw people come up to me. He was like, "Oh, you did such a good job," and that really means a lot to me. Cause I have like somewhat stage fright and get a little bit nervous. And for the people to say I did a good job, that's like really comforting.
When I served food to all the people, they were really happy and they were really excited to be a part of it. And they weren't just there just because they were getting food. They were there because they knew that they were a part of God.
I was serving water, and a mom came up to me and she was telling me how her daughter desperately needed some underwear. And I went inside and I went upstairs and I was going through a whole bunch of different bins. I went back downstairs and I gave them to her, and her mom was so grateful and she had a huge smile on her face.
When I was preaching I did the devotion in the church before we fed the homeless. And after I did the devotion, they were like, "You did a good job, you weren't nervous, that you have a life probably as a preacher in the future."
I saw God at Hope, South Florida, where all the homeless people were very loving and caring about what we were doing and showed a lot of respect towards us.
I saw God at the Ronald McDonald House. We were there to prepare a meal for all the kids that were there because of their illnesses. And they were all really joyful and happy, even though they were impaired in some way.
And I saw God playing dominoes with the elderly people that had Alzheimer's, because they were just so happy doing it.
I had the opportunity to talk to a woman named Angelica, and she was just going on and on saying how great it was, how all the students were there to talk with them and just ask them about who they are and where they come from, and that's just something they don't get asked every day, about how important their stories are. So it's really cool to value them that way, of people coming from Alzheimer's or dementia, and just letting them know that they're valued and that God loves them.